What is the 28-36 rule? Hey, welcome to Dallas Stock Talk, where I talk about topics relating to investing and finance, but more specifically, the stock. Now, in this video, I'll be going over the 28-36 rule. But before we get started, make sure you smash the like button because that helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps YouTube know that you post quality content and help my videos reach a broader audience. So you can use the 28-36 rule to determine how much you can afford for a house or your mortgage payment, or even how much you would get qualified for. Now, a lot of lenders use this rule as far as being pre-approved or qualified. You will definitely use it. So like I said, a lot of lenders use this particular rule. And again, it's two rules. 28-36 rule. The 28 is the first component and the 36 is the second component. The first part, let's take the first part, the 28, which states that no more than 28% of your gross income, that means before tax, can go to housing expenses. That's the first part. Now, when we say housing expenses, we're not talking about groceries, water bill, and Netflix and all that. When I say housing expenses, we're talking about what they call the term PITI. Principal is the amount that you initially borrow. The interest is the amount that the lenders are going to charge you. Property tax and insurance, like for flood and earthquakes and stuff like that. So that's what I'm considering. So you can think about it as the mortgage, tax, insurance, and property tax. So that's what I would count as housing expenses. And by the way, make sure you stick to this end of this video because I'll be going over free websites that actually does all this for you. You can just simply enter in your expenses and your gross income, and they'll let you determine a reasonable amount of house that you can afford. Stay tuned to the end of this video. And also, I provided some great resources for if you are thinking about buying a house or any type of information as far as buying a house or even real estate. Just make sure you check the description below. So the second part states that no more than 36% of your income should go to your total debt. So remember, it's two criteria. One, no more than 28% should go to household expenses. And two, rule number two, what they call the back end, and no more of 36% of your gross income should go to your total debt. So when we're talking total debt, we're talking about car loans, personal loans, student loans, if you have any alimony, child support, credit cards, so all those are together. So I wanted to mention, as far as car payments, if your car payment will be paid off in less than 10 months, they won't count that. But if you have more than 10 months on your car payment, that would be included as well. So this is what they're talking about as the total debt. Also, that 36%, a lot of times they refer to it as the D to I income, which just means debt to income. So how much debt you have versus to your income. So that's a way you can also formally think about it. So like I said, this compares the total amount of debt to the amount of income you have. So let me give you an example. And by the way, they're calculating this monthly. So we're talking about your monthly debt, monthly mortgage. So that's talking about the income. I'm going to talk about monthly. So, and by the way, I did another video called the 30-33 rule, which is another method or rule that you can use to determine if you want to buy a house. Make sure you check the suggested videos up at the top. Let's just say your gross income is $6,000. So according to the 28-36 rule, no more than 28% of your gross income can go to household expenses. So we would just do the $6,000 times, the 28%, you get about $1,680. So that means that if you include, remember, the mortgage payment, property tax, insurance, any HOA fees or anything like that, that would have to be under the $1,680. And that $1,680 is the cap. So it shouldn't be, your mortgage payment shouldn't be over that. So just because you qualify for it, that doesn't necessarily mean you should pick the max one. In my personal opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, but I will always go lower than that simply because it's easier to maintain. And for the second part, if we do 36% of the total debt, that what makes your total debt cannot exceed $2,160. Now, when I'm saying total debt, I'm also including the household expense because we're talking about total debt. Now, if you think $2,160 that goes towards total debt, you may think, oh, well, that's a large number. Well, not necessarily, because if we take the household expenses, which we got, let's say, approved for was 1,680, and we subtract that from the total debt, which would be 2,160, you will only be left with $480. So you gotta think about it. If you have a car payment, student loans, that's really not a lot of wiggle room. It's nothing magical about this. So there's pretty much three things you can do. You can either increase your income, you can pay out down your debt so that you can get approved for a much higher mortgage, or you can simply put a lot more down. And by the way, these are the key factors that really can determine how much you're gonna get qualified for. You have your income, your expenses, your debt, your cash reserve, and your credit score. So these are the key factors to determine how much house you can afford or what lenders are looking at. Those are the kind of the main ones that they're looking at. Because like I said, the bank just wants to make sure that you can pay it off. So their logic is the less debt you have, the more they're assuming or more responsible they think you are with money, and the more likely you are to pay them back. Now let's check out NerdWallet to give you an actual example on the website. Okay folks, now this is the website NerdWallet, where this is everything I told you before. It breaks everything down for you. You don't have to do any math at all. And like I said, with the toggle, you can just toggle and they can see what will be aggressive, stretching, and affordable. I would definitely keep things in the affordable range, but as you can see, they'll max it all the way out, and you can also see what the debt to income ratio would be. Play around with it, but as you can see, that 36 mark, debt to equity ratio at 36 mark, it would make it affordable example so that you guys can end up seeing exactly how to use this. So once again, this site is called NerdWallet. I'll put it in the description below, but let's end up scrolling down. You can join, it's free, but you don't have to worry about it. Now, what you would end up going down to and hit reset. This one, they're basing off of your annual income. Let's say our annual income is $80,000. We'll play, and let's just say our monthly debt is, try to make it a little bit more realistic, $700. And like I said, this is just a rough thing. And you also can put how much you put for a down payment. So let's just say we put down the 20%, which would be, let's just say 79, and it tells you exactly how much the down payment would be. So if you can see the down payment, it shows that at $69,000, that's 18.72 of the house payment. But I'm saying we're putting down $79,000, which is roughly about the 20%. So as you can see, it gives us an affordable house, $373,395, and this would be in the affordable range. Your monthly payment would be $1,697. So this is more so in the healthy range, like I said, after the 36% debt to income ratio as well, and it breaks it down as 25% for your housing expenses, debt, tax. It has all that included. Also, it breaks down the fees. So just kind of gives you a rough estimate. And they also said 33% towards expenses and savings. Once again, this is just a generic model, so it won't be exact, but just to give you a rough estimate. And I would, just because it says, the 36%, I would actually push it a little bit towards this side, just to make it a lot more affordable. But to each his own, it's up to you. And let's just say, and by the way, this is on a 30-year mortgage. If you put it on a 15-year mortgage, this what it would be. Of course, you'll be paying a loan off in a short amount of time, so you can really just play around with it, change this. Matter of fact, let's just use the example in the video. So I said $6,000 monthly, so that would be about annually about roughly $72,000. And let's just say our was 480. See, I think that was what the example was. So boom, look at that. Remember, I went to 1,680. So that for the affordable house would be $267,280. So this is, like I said, it did all the math for you. So now you would know how much house you could reasonably afford. Honestly, from the actual math I did myself and the way expenses is, I would probably push it down towards right there. But a little bit lower than that. But yeah, just to give you an idea. And also it shows you how much would go for the down. down payment, total closing costs, and all that type of stuff. Monthly payment, property tax, homeowners insurance, and all that. And you can kind of play around with, as you can see, if you have zero debt, of course you're going to raise it up dramatically as far as the price. But just to give you an idea, and also for credit score, if you put average, it would change a bit. The better credit you have, the higher score. So I think this is a really useful tool. Let's switch this back to 30, and let's just say we only want to put $10,000. So as you can see, a minimum down payment, it's saying 3%. So let's just say we put $12,000 down. And now, so it said the monthly mortgage payment, assuming these criteria, 30-year mortgage, $72,000, zero debt. It's $390,103. It's $390,103. I think that's a little bit on the high side. Right now, I have it set up in the California area, which would probably be a lot more expensive. But that concludes Dow Stock Talk. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the 28-36 rule? If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel.